What is up, babes? Welcome to the very first episode of So Alli, the podcast. It feels so surreal to be saying that. Hosted by yours truly, Alli Simpson. And just when you thought you'd seen enough influencers start a half shit mid podcast, here I am, but mine's not going to be shit. Not throwing any shade here, just facts. Anyway, it's been a damn long time coming, and I have wanted to start this podcast for so long now. And there has been lots of, I guess, expected and unexpected reasons as to why I didn't start it sooner, but we are going to get into that in this episode and all the episodes to come. I guess you could say life has sort of fucked me in the ass a little bit over the last few years, as it does in your mid-20s. I know I'm not alone, so let's get into it. This show is going to be 100% Alli Unfiltered, where the tea is hot, the stories are brutal, and really the only thing I'm leaving behind is my dignity. I do feel like I'm one of those people that if you looked at my Instagram and you didn't know me, you could probably quickly assume that I was a bitch, or you would think that I was a bitch. I'm hands down, I'm not. I'm, in fact, a really kind, nice person. But if you looked at my Instagram, I feel like you can't get a whole lot of personality. So I thought a podcast would be the perfect way for you guys to get to know me and get to know the real me. I guess the Alli that my besties know, the Alli that my family knows, and the Alli that is ready to let you guys see her and to let you in, because I'm actually kind of a little unhinged. I consider myself quite funny, in fact. If I do say so myself. I guess you guys can be the judge of that. But I wanted to start this podcast so I could just build a family with you guys. Like, let's be friends, yeah, because I need more of those. It is kind of hard out here for a bitch. Okay, now where do I start? I guess I'll start from the beginning. I am a Gold Coast girl through and through, but I would say I'm like part Aussie sunshine, part Hollywood chaos, having moved to Los Angeles at the age of 12. So there's a lot of that in there we also need to unpack. But I speak fluent sarcasm. I feel way too much, like way too much. Unapologetically, I feel way too much. And I overshare like it's a fucking full-time job, especially if there's any wine involved or anything. So yeah, let's not go there. So long story short, when I was here on the Gold Coast, I was in love with the sport of swimming. And now when I look back on that, and the more I reflect, I think that I wasn't in love with the sport of swimming itself. I think that I just liked going swimming training because my crush was there every Wednesday. So after school, I could see him and also like hang out with my best friends that were also in my squad. I don't think now looking back that swimming was meant for me, because the last time I went swimming and dove in a pool, I hit my head on the bottom and actually broke my neck. So yeah, swimming's not for me. But I went to school on the Gold Coast until about grade 7, and that is when we moved to Los Angeles, and then I homeschooled with my two brothers, Cody and Tom, until we graduated. Thank God I've got two brothers. I think if I had a sister, I'd probably kill her. Maybe that's like a middle child syndrome thing, but I'm very grateful for my two brothers. Circling back, I think a lot of you would know that we left school in grade 7, and a lot of you listening would know that we moved to the States for my brother Cody to pursue and pop the fuck off in his music career, and that he did. But God, what an adventure. There are so many stories about all of that that we can dive into in some episodes to come. Okay, so speaking about homeschool, the funniest part about my homeschooling experience was we were touring America with my brother Cody, but we were based out of a curriculum in Atlanta. So it was like a homeschooled curriculum for people traveling, actresses, musicians, whatever, people that couldn't go to normal school. Us being some of them, and two others that were in our schooling curriculum were, funny enough, Kylie and Kendall Jenner. So the only other girl in my grade was Kylie Jenner, and the only other person in Cody's grade was Kendall. It's so bizarre, but we'll get into the who, what, why, when, and how that came about. All you need to know for now is that I got valedictorian over Kylie Jenner when I graduated high school, which is no longer my claim to fame because she's a billionaire now and I am not. In fact, I am far from that. So go Kylie. So moving on. I just had to turn the aircon on because I am starting to sweat up in here. I am 27 years old. I am single as hell. Let's bring back my single, why I'm single niche reference. If you know, you know. But yes, I'm single as hell, and I'm in that stage of life where everyone around me is either getting engaged, getting married, having kids, and here I am doing pretty much the complete opposite. They're all out there slaying, and I'm here kind of maybe having like a midlife crisis. I'm like past the quarter life crisis phase now. Okay, I'm 27. 27 is the same age as 25. I'll stick with that. But yeah, okay, so quarter life crisis. And that used to stress me out. But I'm now in the place where I'm like, damn, I shouldn't be. Like, it's not a quarter life crisis. Can I just like look at it as like a quarter life slay? Because I'm feeling really, really good about where I am. And don't get me wrong, I am stoked for all my friends, everyone that's getting married, having babies, all the above, like iconic, queen shit. But I'm feeling really good about where I'm at. And it's one of those cliche things like you are exactly where you're supposed to be and blah, blah, blah. But I believe it. Yeah, I guess I used to think I was behind, but I'm really just embracing the now and the beauty and the nature of every moment. And I do think that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't change my journey for 1 second. I've been through a lot to get to where I am today, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm just going to embrace where I'm at now and move into this next beautiful chapter as we launch this podcast, because I think it's going to be an absolute wild ride and a super fun journey. And I'm so glad you're all here with me. So throughout my life, I've dabbled in a little bit of everything. I'm talking about career-wise, guys, you filthy-minded dogs, or maybe that's just my mind. Anyway, you'll get to know my personality as this podcast moves on. Yes, I have dabbled in a little bit of everything in terms of my career. I mean, now for all the OGs that are tuning in, welcome. And thank you for sticking by me. And what the fuck are you still doing here? If you guys don't know where the name So Alli originated from, it actually originated from my YouTube channel. And So Alli has always been my YouTube name ever since I started, since my first video, which might have been like 2010 or 2012 or something. I'd hate to look back and see what they are. I'm sure you guys will do some digging and find those. I thought that I'd bring the So Alli brand back around because it's So Alli, it's so me. All the OGs do know that about So Alli, but for all of you that are new here, welcome. Hi, I'm Alli. Welcome, and we're going to have so much fun. I guess like reflecting on all that, some would probably call me a seasoned veteran, some would probably call me washed up, but I don't really give a fuck because I'm in my fuck it era and I'm ready to barrel on this podcast. Either way, every Thursday from now on, my voice is just going to be drowning in your headphones. Every Thursday from now on. So good luck to you. Why am I holding this microphone like it's a glass of rosé? It's very proper. Now, taking it back when I say I've dabbled in a little bit of everything, let's get into it. I've been a singer, an actress, a model, a host, a radio host. I'm a reality TV escapee, I should say. And I'm a very proud member of the I'm fine but actually spiraling club. And I think for the last few years, I just have not been fine. And I've just been like, everything's fine, everything will work out. And when it totally just wasn't. It is now, but this is what we're going to unpack on So Alli. I'm sure I'm not the only member in the I'm fine, but I'm actually spiraling club. So yeah, join me. But now, after all that, I'm very proud to say that I am a podcaster. And I guess if you're into chaotic stories, maybe some questionable dating advice, I don't know if you want to take mine, but I've been through enough to maybe give and serve some good advice. I've learned from my mistakes. I've learnt from others' mistakes as well. If you like laughs and martinis with friends, or you just like getting real about life, love, friendship, mental health, all the above, or you're simply just into some brutally honest oversharing and everything in between, buckle up, babes, because this podcast is for you. Either way, we are going to dive into some juicy shit on this podcast because I am, like I said, officially in my fuck it era. I am ready to bear all, okay? You guys aren't ready. A lot of my friends and family know my deepest, darkest secrets, but I'm like pretty ready to just share all, to be honest, because I want to tell my secrets. They are too good not to share. They are. I guess if you fucked me over, I would be scared now that I've launched this podcast. I guess if you've ever had an amazing, epic, crazy time with me, I'd be excited because I'm going to tell these stories. All in all, I have more than tea to spill. Like, we are out here spilling fucking tequila. You feel me? So I spoke to you guys how I started So Alli because that was my YouTube channel name, and now we're back on So Alli, on the So Alli YouTube channel, which is amazing. But it is not my first rodeo on a microphone, which I'm sure a lot of you would know, because I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my favorite job I ever worked. And it was really where I found the love for this line of work, of just talking on camera, talking to people, being on the microphone and giving all the advice that I can and just making people smile. It all started on my radio show that I had in the States called the Alli Alli Simpson Show. Funny enough, that obviously didn't take me that long to think of a name, but it was called The Alli Simpson Show. It was on every Friday night on Radio Disney. And I was fortunate enough to have, I think it was 7 million listeners every Friday. So I'll thank the Disney brand for that. So thank you, Disney, for that, which was just incredible. And I did that for quite a few years from the age of, I think 15, 16 was when I started. And yeah, having 7 million listeners at the age of like 17 is a little questionable because I had advice segments. So I don't know if I ever gave you any advice on the Alli Simpson Show. I'm sorry. I hope it did serve you at the time and it was good advice at the time. But yeah, it's wild to look back and think about that because I was also, which I didn't know for so long, like once I got started, that I was actually the youngest nationally syndicated radio host in US history, which was wild. And I hate talking about myself, so I hate saying that, but I'm just giving you guys a little bit of perspective on where this all started and how I built my following. And basically it all started on the Alli Simpson Show. And I guess that I feel really proud saying that. I got to interview some incredible people on the Alli Simpson Show, like you guys have no idea. I will give you a little bit of a list of those guys soon. But now on this podcast, it's not just going to be me yapping away in every episode, just sitting here on my couch at home, even though I probably could because I talk a million miles an hour and I could talk for hours and hours on end. I'll be chatting with people from all walks of life who have real stories to share, to inspire us, to push us and motivate us because I love listening to other people's stories on podcasts. So I want to be able to bring to you guys people that I find and come across in my life that I love and who inspire me and have so much to share. And that's always nice to hear people's stories and always be reminded that we're not alone, no matter what we're going through. Because at the end of the day, everyone we know is going through something, you know, big, small, the highs, the lows, everyone's going through something. And I think it is up to us as humans and our responsibility to be there for each other and to share our stories and speak freely and openly about what we've been through, because when we do that as humans, we help others. And that to me is just so damn cool. Like that is the reason we're all here, right? Like we got to be here for each other. Otherwise, what are we doing? And on a juicier note, yes, there will be a constant flow of interviews with your favorite celebrities, influencers, stars, podcasters, entrepreneurs, whatever you guys want. I am here. If you have any guest recommendations whatsoever, I've already got some sick guests lined up, which I'm so excited about. But if you have any guest recommendations whatsoever, DM me, message me, whatever, and I will do what I can to make that happen and get these guests on the podcast. Throwing back to some of the incredible people that I actually got to interview on the Alli Simpson Show, I wish that I could do it all again now because I think that I would be a much better interviewer and maybe handle those situations a little better. But yeah, on the Alli Simpson Show, I had my very first interview was actually One Direction. I think all I really cared about was how I could flirt with one of them. Like, how can I possibly date one of these guys was my main goal, even though it was my first interview at my first job. So yes, One Direction was my first. I then moved on to Justin Bieber. I got to do Gwen Stefani, Keith Urban, Selena Gomez, Zendaya, Sabrina Carpenter, the Jonas Brothers, Jake Paul, a really random rogue lineup. And I loved every second of it. So I think that it was them and so many more. And I just find it so amazing that I got to do that at such a young age. So we'll find those clips so I can pull them up. I'll probably be embarrassed about my interviewing skills, but that's what So Alli the podcast is here for. You know, we're bringing it back. Let's start a petition to get all those people on So Alli the podcast eventually. Why is my hand hurting from holding up this microphone? Do you think I'd given enough like hand jobs to have the strength in this hand? Oh my God. This podcast is going to be the perfect mix of wholesome, inspiring and motivating and explicit, very explicit. So there's kind of no in between. So you guys just strap in. Anyway, getting a little sidetracked, circling back to what I said at the start. Life fucked me in the ass a little bit. And what I mean by that, I think it's time to give you the 411. Now, all these things that have happened to me in the last few years definitely deserve, and definitely will have their own episodes because there's just so much to talk about. So from about 2021 to now has been quite the journey for your girl. Quite the journey for little old Al. When I start to talk about these things, I get a little emotional, so I wrote them down. But I guess in my head, I break it down to these 3 steps of what has happened to me, what I've been through, what I battled through, and what has led me here today and where I'm at now, if that makes any sense at all. But I break it down to these 3 things. Number 1, the journey started, I guess, at the end of 2021 as I was in and moving towards the end of a very toxic relationship. When it comes to toxic relationships, I do believe there are three sides to the story: his, hers, and the truth, or somewhere in between. And there's always going to be a little bit of this and that. And anyway, so I was coming out of what I considered to be a very toxic relationship and a very toxic and awful end to this relationship that I was in, which was such a shame because it started out so lovely. But I guess that's what happens when you're young and you're navigating through really, really intense emotions. And that's what happens when you're in love. I think that love can be really, really evil at sometimes. It can be evil as equally hard and evil and brutal as it is beautiful. But we'll get into that. But yeah, so it all started, had a bad end to this toxic relationship. That then led to me winding up with a life-threatening injury. 2022, I broke my neck. To put it simply, I broke my neck. I dove into a shallow pool at nighttime, drunk. After my breakup, I was actually on a date with somebody else, and yes, dove into a pool, drunk, hit my head on the bottom. I broke 2 vertebrae, and basically I was about 2 millimeters away from being paralyzed from the neck down in that moment, and or not here anymore. I get a little emotional talking about it because that was such a hard and difficult time of my life and a very, very, very scary time in my life. But yeah, so I guess it went from the relationship to the neck break. And as I navigated my way through that injury, and I'm sure that there's other people that have been through severe injuries that they would probably relate to me in saying that it's really easy for that to then lead into some mental health issues. And I fell into a really deep, dark depression because I was alone for so long in my neck brace, and I just spiraled. I couldn't work for so long. I spiraled. I didn't know what I was doing with my life, and very quickly, actually, I fell into that depression. And that, unfortunately, it shot my confidence. And I think after all that, like when I fell into that depression, I was in a really bad mental space and I was doubting myself and I really didn't know what to do. I thought my life was over. And it shot my confidence and my love for work. It also shot my love for myself, I guess, in terms of how I looked. I battled through some major body insecurities. I know I'm not alone there. It was super intense. And yeah, I just had constant, dark, negative self-talk every day. Like the voice in my head was so awful, and I shouldn't have been listening to that or listening to what brain Alli had to say, because if I just started telling myself the opposite, then maybe it would have helped me get out of the rut. But I'm sure a lot of you know when you are in that deep, dark place, it's really hard to see the way out. And for me, it was. And yeah, I found myself in a place that I really didn't know how to get out of. And I feel so incredibly proud now to say that I'm on the other side of this journey. But it did take me a lot longer than what I wanted and what I ever would have thought. But you can't control these things. This is just what life had in store for me. And we'll get into it so much more with episodes to come. But I haven't spoken really publicly about any of these topics that I have just mentioned, which is why I'm really excited to just get So Alli up and off the ground. I'm here to let you know that I will be diving super deep into these 3 topics on So Alli. I won't be diving into any pools again anytime soon. I mean, if I don't laugh about it, I'll cry. So yeah, that's just a little insight into where I've been and what's been happening. But yeah, we have so much to unpack. But in saying all that, being on the flip side now and going through these life-changing battles was not easy. I mean, not easy at all. But the only way out is through, my friends. The only way out is through. And I definitely thought I wasn't going to get through, and here I am. So if anything, I am proof that you guys can get through it with the support of people around you if you do the work and just keep going, because like I said, one of my favorite quotes ever is the only way out is through. So I'll unpack everything with you guys to explain from then to now in all these moments in time, because I want to share it, because if I can help or inspire or at least help one of you or pull one of you out of the darkness, then I've done my job and I'll be happy. So there's 1, 100, 1,000, 1 million of you. It doesn't matter. If I get to help at least one of you by sharing anything I've been through or any of my stories, then I've done myself proud. So coming off of that topic, ever since I started in this career, my main motivation and my main goal has always been to help others. Ever since I started on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, I always did these little advice segments called Ask Alli. I wanted to bring back a little bit of a segment, kind of like Ask Alli, every episode that we do, but it's an upgrade. So instead of Ask Alli, it's now going to be So, Alli. So every episode that I do, especially when I do these solo ones, I obviously don't have any questions now. This being my solo and very first episode, I've got no listeners. But from now on, when I do have listeners and you guys have any questions or any advice about life, love, dating, family, friends, all the above, hit me up. And I want you to start by using the words, So Alli, I have a problem with my ex, or So Alli, I'm feeling this way about myself. And I'll read them out. You can be anonymous. You can announce yourself. It doesn't matter. And I will read through at least a few So Alli questions every episode. So I'm excited to do that each week. And I can do them with guests as well, which will be really fun. Now, before I wrap up this introductory episode, I want you guys to know that So Alli, this show has no limits. We're not in a box. I'm not putting any lids or any caps on what we're going to talk about. It's going to be super wholesome, and I want it to lift everybody up, and I want to inspire and motivate people my age, younger, older, whatever. I want us to just be having this open conversation, but it's also going to be equally as fucked up. It's going to be explicit. It will be rude. I have a lot of really interesting X-rated stories to share, which I am kind of ready to share because they're just too good. Like, I can't just keep these in. I can't be sitting in my room just reminiscing on all this shit that I've done and all these things that I've done and just not share. They're too good. So Alli's going to be a lot of that as well. So I just wanted to say this is the intro episode. You guys have absolutely no idea what is coming. But I really want you guys to feel that So Alli and this show is just as much yours as it is mine, because this is our show. This is our safe space to hang out, be friends, talk about crazy shit and all the above. I want this show to feel like just sitting down with your bestie. Sitting down, having your favorite drink with your bestie, whether you're laughing or you're venting about something shitty that happened to you or some dude or whatever it is. Or sitting down with your besties with a glass of wine and crying, maybe crying a lot depending on the day. But I always want you guys leaving my episodes and leaving my seasons feeling whole and free and full of joy, and maybe walking away with a little bit more advice or wisdom, or maybe walking away a little scarred after stories that I'm going to tell you. I can say there's some stories that might not leave your head anytime soon, but that is very exciting. So the good news is I will be having an episode for you guys every Thursday. So Alli is going to be coming to you every Thursday, babe. So make sure you mark those calendars. Always stay tuned and let's do this together. I can't believe I'm wrapping up my first episode. I hope I didn't bore you too much, guys, but it's only up from here. Let's do this together, because when we're together, we can go from just surviving to thriving. I feel so stoked and so proud to say welcome to So Alli. That wraps up episode number 1. And until next time, from your host, Alli Simpson, this is So Alli. Woo! Oh, and follow at So Alli Podcast on Instagram. Comment who you want to see. Comment what you want us to talk about. I am here for the people. Let's do this, guys.